NXT Revenge took place tonight in Orlando, Florida at the WWE Performance Center. This was the first of a 2-week special called Revenge, and this kind of is in place for the PLE that's not happening during WrestleMania week this year. It's the first time NXT hasn't had a show during Mania week in probably close to 12 years. They've even when they didn't have PLEs, they at least had some sort of presence. This year, there's nothing for NXT in Las Vegas this year. The one exception that they didn't was the COVID year. So hopefully, I don't want this to stay going forward. And I'm not sure we're going to get many more NXT shows during Mania week. There was something special about it because there was the Mania crowd. You're never going to get the Mania crowd to an NXT event again. And that's kind of sad in my opinion. Even if, some of the shows were a bit hard to manage for WWE because you're having an NXT show the same day as WrestleMania. It's difficult to manage and it, really strains on the production staff. But still, I'm going to miss that, seeing, a WrestleMania crowd watching NXT, and you get a lot more of a smaller sample size, kind of more the hardcore ones go. It's kind of like the Raw after Mania, but an even smaller crowd than that. It's like the most hardcore fans. So that is kind of sad. I'm going to miss NXT during WrestleMania week this year, and I had to mention that to start off. But we did have Revenge. The show started off with Jada Parker coming out. She wasn't yeeting, by the way, if you know what I mean. And she faced Kehlani Jordan, who was out next. So had to mention this earlier. Jada's hair actually got stuck onto Kehlani's bra, and they had to Kehlani's top at least, and they had to remove it. And then I think one of them says sorry to the other, and they kind of caught that on camera. So Kehlani got the heat for a while she worked on Jada's knee, and that was really the story of the match. So what happens was the middle turnbuckle was actually exposed, and Jada went for the hypnotic onto Kehlani, but she misses, and Jada hits the exposed middle turnbuckle, and then Kehlani takes advantage, which she hits a split-legged moonsault for the win. So Kehlani Jordan gets the win over Jada Parker. Should be the end of their feud. I don't know what else is for them to really do in NXT. I don't know. Kehlani, they could call her up. I'm not sure. Sol Ruca, I think, is a sure thing, but Kehlani, Sol, and Jada, I kind of always put them in the same category because I've always thought they kind of came up together, the three of them. And, Sol's going to the main roster very soon, in my opinion. I'm not sure about Kehlani and Jada. I don't know if she's going to go to the main roster anytime soon, but Kehlani got the win here. I'm not sure what else is there. She's feuded with everyone in NXT, Kehlani Jordan. Who hasn't she worked with by now? She's wrestled Jada Parker multiple times, multiple matches against Sol Ruca, against Lola Vice. She's wrestled countless times. I don't know what else is left for Kehlani to really do in NXT. Charlotte Hill was confronted backstage by Ricky Saints, and then Ethan Page walked in. They argued, and then Ethan and Ricky hug it out. That's stupid. I'm not a fan of this at all. This Ricky Saints, he's been awful. Since he's turned heel, since he really lost his belt to Obafemi last year, the NXT Championship, Ricky Saints has been just the drizzling shits on NXT. There's no other terms to describe him as. He's been awful, especially in this heel gimmick. He was actually fine, I thought, as a babyface, but since he's turned heel, he's been fucking horrendous. And it's more than just that rock concert disaster a couple of months ago. He's just not been good. So we saw Joe Hendry backstage. They show us the Vegas Strip after the break to promote WrestleMania. Oh my God, I feel like I've seen the Las Vegas Strip so many times the last 2 years since they announced WrestleMania 41 a couple of years ago, and then which would be in Las Vegas, and then WrestleMania 42 was going to be in New Orleans. They pulled it and then went back to Las Vegas. So for the last 2 years, they've been promoting the WrestleMania tickets. They've been promoting WrestleMania, and they've showed us the Las Vegas Strip nonstop for 2 years. I swear to God, I feel like I've seen the entire Las Vegas Strip. I think I've seen more of Las Vegas these last 2 years than I was actually there. I've been there once. I feel like I've seen more of it from WWE programming the last couple years than I was actually physically there. And I was there for a few days. Jesus. I've seen so much of the Las Vegas Strip. Anyway, in WWE, we got a Sol Ruca Zarya video package next, and this was pretty good. Sol Ruca was the one was focused on her. She was cutting a promo. I thought she did actually a pretty good job of hyping up the last woman standing match next week against Zarya. So the Joe Hendry was out next, got a nice pop. His concert was underway until Keanu Carver crashed it. Who cares? What does Shawn Michaels see in this guy? I don't get it. He's not that big. He's not physically imposing. What is it about Keanu Carver that's so scary? I've seen a million guys like him. Okay, he's just some football guy. He's athletic. A lot of football guys are athletic, obviously. What's really special about him for him to get this giant push in NXT? It's clear they want to push him as the NXT champion soon. Like, what is it about Keanu Carver that's getting him this giant push? I don't see anything special, anything unique, anything that makes this guy stand out from a whole bunch of other NIL guys in NXT. I don't get it. But he kills Joe Hendry. He no-sells a fucking guitar shot. A guitar shot. He no-sold the guitar shot. I'm sure Jeff Jarrett really loved that, right? And then, like, he spears Joe Hendry through the barricade with a bunch of security guards, and Joe is actually bloodied up here. I do not get this. I don't see anything in this guy. I don't know why he's being pushed to the fucking moon by this idiot, lazy-brained booker. He doesn't just have a lazy eye, he has a lazy brain. And I'm going to watch the Peacock documentary soon, so hopefully Shawn Michaels isn't as stupid. He doesn't come off as stupid in that documentary as he does on this show a lot of times. So we got a Tony D'Angelo video promo before his title match against Ethan Page. Backstage in the locker room, Stephanie Vaquer made an appearance on NXT, the show that made her. She got a nice ovation, and she reunited with Lola Vice, her fellow Latina, both champions for now. I'm not sure Stephanie's going to walk out WrestleMania as champion, but I'll get to that when I do my predictions later this week. But it was nice seeing Stephanie and Lola reunite on NXT. At both of them as champions, so you got that nice visual with the two of them. Cali Armstrong made her debut against Skylar Ray. So Skylar is this really cute blonde girl, and I'm just thinking, oh my god, Cali's she's gonna smash this chick. Like, she's gonna just, crush her. But Skylar did get some offense in, but then Cali just took over. She's very fast, and they're gonna push her again. Another NIL person. Well, one thing I'll say about her, I've never seen someone run the ropes as fast as she did. Like, holy shit. She's a track star, and it shows. But yeah, Cali crushes Skylar. Middle of the match, he just took over and killed the girl. So Blake Monroe was with the Vanity Project backstage in Robert Stone's office. She's going to face Tatum Paxley next week, but Tatum chooses the stipulation. Ethan Page is out next for his title match. And then we actually got after the break, we got a Trick Williams video package where he thanks Shawn Michaels. This was a clip from the Peacock documentary, which I'll have to watch soon. Tony D'Angelo was out next, and then we get the NXT Championship on the line. Tony D'Angelo defends his title against Ethan Page. Good matchup here. They had a battle. It wasn't too long. It definitely didn't feel like a main event. But, NXT main events, even on PLEs, are never that long. This match could have used another 10 minutes. But, they have to have a million segments of fucking Keanu Carver. He has to have so much fucking TV time every week. Who cares about this fucking bum? Oh, I hate Keanu Carver now. Anyway, he got a lot of time here, Keanu did. But, they in this match, they had a war. Page hit the Razor's Edge on the title belt, but Tony D'Angelo kicked out. Tony hit the spear. I hope I didn't call Tony D'Angelo Joe Hendry. I forgot there's a new champion. Tony D'Angelo the champion. So Tony kicks out, and then there was the big spot set up where Tony had Ethan set up on the barricade, and he was going for a spear, and he does. He hits like the spear off the steps, then onto the barricade, and they were supposed to go through the announce booth, but they just kind of landed on it, so they didn't actually break it. Tony won after he hit his finisher, the choke slam, and he won the match to retain his title. Ethan Page, to me, it's been 2 years in NXT. He's had a hell of a run, very successful run in NXT. Gotta give him props for that. He was the NXT champion, and he was a North American champion, but I do feel like his time in NXT is done, and I'd like to see him on their main roster now very soon. Miles Bourne headed to the ring next, and then they had that, what's that chick's name? That blonde referee who's good looking. She was trying to stop Ricky Staines from going after Shiloh Hill, who I hate his fucking gimmick. What a loser. Like, why is he a wrestler? He's just some guy who likes to work in construction and stuff. I'm thinking, like, what the fuck's he doing as a wrestler then? This carpenter guy. I don't know. Anyway. Miles Bourne was in the ring. He refers to Stephanie Vaquer as his favorite desserts. Didn't mention her by name, but he said his favorite dessert he was looking forward to having after NXT. And there are some fans chanting La Primera. So you're a lucky motherfucker, Miles Bourne. I guess being deaf, I think anyone would trade being deaf they'll take being deaf in order to be with Stephanie Vaquera. I think that's a good trade-off in life. Anyway, he talks about being attacked by Dion Lennox at Stand and Delivered, and the lights go out. Darkstate appears. Dion wants a title match, but Miles is able to turn Darkstate against each other, and Saquon gets dropped by Miles Bourne, and Darkstate has to retreat, so screw Darkstate. We see the Speed Tournament guys in the back. We got a Zarya video promo for her match next week against Sol Ruka, and when she cuts a promo, then we got a Speed Tournament match, EK Prosper against Darian, I'm trying to pronounce his name, Dorian Van Du, DVD, that's his nickname now. He's something else. He's going to put DVDs back on the shelf, right? They're going back in stock, DVDs. Physical media is making a comeback, I hear. You should get physical media, by the way. This is kind of non-wrestling related, but get physical media, because these fucking streamings, as some of them merge, the prices are going to go so high, you may as well get some physical media, just in case like your favorite movie gets put onto a streaming service, which you have to pay like $30 a month for or something. So you might want to stack up on, not DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, whatever. Anyway, EK won the match after a moonsault. Robert Stone made a Keanu Carr versus Joe Hendry match next week. I don't give a shit. They show us a montage of the Vegas Strip to promote WrestleMania, which is now just in 4 days. We're back in the saddle again. 4 days in Las Vegas, man. 4 days to Las Vegas for WrestleMania 42. Oh, man. It feels like it was just last year when I was like doing an epic rant on how bad the main events of WrestleMania 41 was last year with Travis Scott. We're already back here in the same venue in the same city. Just bad vibes. I'm sorry, guys. I think WrestleMania is going to be bad again. But I hope it's good. I fully expect. I have no confidence in Paul Levesque and what TKO wants. I expect this to be a bad show. Anyway, we got an NXT Chronicle on Kendall Gray. It was a casual sit-down interview. And let me just say this about Kendall. Not to sound like a goon or anything, but she is an incredibly young, attractive woman. She talks really well, and she talked about her friendship with Ren Sinclair and how Julius Creed actually reached out to her after she won some tournament in college, I believe. So Robert Stone talked to Tatum Paxley backstage. She was in like the warehouse on some stocked shelves and stuff, and she was just hanging out there, and she wants to face Blake Monroe next week. And the guy who built the stipulation that's going to be used in their match, it's what the match is, the guy who built it for her was Charlotte Hill, who built her a casket. And next week for the NXT Women's North American Championship match on NXT Revenge, week 2, Tatum Paxley defends her title against Blake Monroe in a casket match. They preview next week's show. Then Jacy, Jayne, and Fatal Influence came out before. Then we go to break. I just have to say this. Laney looks good in Fallon, man. Oof. Fallon Henley's a smoke show, man. She looks so good in leather. Anyway, Darkstate argues backstage. Don't care. Lola Vice was out next, and we got the NXT Women's Championship on the line. Lola Vice defends her title against Jacy Jayne. So Laney and Fallon kept getting involved in the match. They teased Jacy would win, but I never really bought into it. Even with Shawn Michaels' infatuation with Jacy Jayne, I kind of knew she's done here. She's not going to be champion again. She's going to the main roster. So Lola won the match after hitting a spinning back fist. Obviously the right decision. Lola stood tall. And then Fatal Influence is back on the ramp, and they get wiped out by Cali Armstrong, who then goes on to the apron and confronts Lola Vice. But then Kendall Gray comes on the other side of the apron, on the other way, the other side of the ring, actually, and she looks down, stares down Lola Vice, and then you have Izzy Dame appear on the circular structure with the culling, and then Zarya makes her entrance to confront Lola, but then Sol Ruka jumps her, and that's how the show ends, with Lola standing in the middle of the ring to end NXT Revenge Week 1, which I thought overall was a decent show. Nice showcase for Lola Vice, nice showcase for Tony D'Angelo retaining their titles. I'm not sure if they're going to be long-term champs, but I'm glad they at least got to have some title defenses on the show. And that's how Revenge ends. As I said, no NXT presence for WrestleMania this year. So it's kind of awkward watching NXT because every time you watch NXT during WrestleMania week, it's always building up to a major show during WrestleMania. And this is the 1 year where that's just not going to happen because they didn't schedule it for WrestleMania week this year. I am going to miss NXT during WrestleMania. It's something I look forward to every year for WrestleMania weekend. Yeah, there's WrestleMania, there's a Raw after Mania, there's the Hall of Fame. But one thing I always looked forward to watching every year was NXT having a takeover, then later just having PLE during the week. So it's we're not getting it this year. I am going to miss NXT during WrestleMania week.